Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. While Triple H has proved to be one of the finest names to lead the wrestling industry to great heights, he has had his fair share of struggles over the years as well. Back in 2002, the game seemingly had some issues with a WWE Hall of Famer, and vice versa, which came to an end recently. Wrestling legend Scott Steiner and Triple H are two of the biggest names in the industry. They engaged in a rivalry in the squared circle around 2003, which ended up being one of the most underwhelming feuds, seemingly adding up to their issues. During a recent appearance on the Busted Open podcast, Scott Steiner commented on his issues with the game and stated that both men had buried the hatchet. Not only that, but the Hall of Famer also added that Triple H offered a nil program to Steiner's young son, Brock Steiner. I left with a lot of hard feelings, but at some point, you gotta let it be. You can't be angry the whole time. You can't hold a grudge. Plus, some people that you have a grudge against probably don't even know anyways, and I didn't want to screw up anything for Braun, so I just buried the hatchet. Matter of fact, Hunter called me the other day, probably 3 weeks ago, and offered my boy a nil deal, said Scott Steiner. H/T Fightful. The Rock ignored Triple H backstage recently. After his massive return to WWE on Raw last week, The Rock interacted with Triple H backstage before Roman Reigns made his way in. While both men seemingly had a short and sweet chat, the game extended his hand for a handshake, which The Rock seemingly ignored. The latter went on to talk to his cousin Roman Reigns, which caught a lot of attention among fans. While this could have just been an oversight from the final boss, the incident has been making rounds on the internet. Time will tell if the People's Champion and the game interact with each other on TV during a storyline in the near future. The world of professional wrestling is filled with rivalries and alliances, both in and out of the ring. Over the years, tensions between some of WWE's most legendary figures have often spilled over into real life, creating feuds that extend far beyond the squared circle. But in a surprising turn of events, a WWE Hall of Famer recently revealed that he has reconciled with Triple H after years of animosity. The Hall of Famer in question is none other than the hardcore legend Mick Foley, a man whose storied career has seen him endure unimaginable pain and bring unmatched passion to the business. His announcement came during a candid appearance on a wrestling podcast where he shared details of his rocky relationship with Triple H and how the two managed to mend fences. Foley and Triple H's rivalry dates back to their days as in-ring competitors. The two clashed in some of WWE's most iconic matches, including the brutal street fight at the 2000 Royal Rumble and the unforgettable Hell in a Cell match at No Way Out the same year. While their on-screen chemistry was undeniable, their backstage relationship wasn't always as harmonious. There were times when I felt like Hunter didn't respect me, Foley admitted during the podcast. He came up in an era where image and physique were everything, and I was this chubby guy with a scraggly beard and missing teeth. I think he saw me as an oddball, someone who didn't fit the mold of a WWE superstar. The tension between the two escalated when Triple H transitioned from a full-time wrestler to a behind-the-scenes executive. Foley felt overlooked during this period, believing that his contributions to the business weren't being adequately recognized. I remember pitching ideas for creative, and they'd get shot down, Foley recalled. I started to feel like I was being phased out, like my voice didn't matter anymore. And when Triple H became more influential in WWE, it was hard not to feel like he was part of the reason why. For years, the two legends barely spoke. Foley continued to make sporadic appearances in WWE, but the camaraderie he once shared with Triple H was noticeably absent. Rumors of their strained relationship circulated among fans and insiders, with some suggesting that it might never be repaired. I think we both let pride get in the way, Foley admitted. Neither of us wanted to be the first to reach out. We just let the distance grow. The situation reached a breaking point in 2017 when Foley was unceremoniously removed from his role as general manager of Raw. Many speculated that Triple H had played a role in the decision, further deepening the rift between the two. But as time went on, Foley began to reflect on his relationship with Triple H. He started to realize that some of his frustrations were misplaced and that he might have misjudged his former rival's intentions. "I started to see things differently," Foley said. "I watched how hard Hunter worked behind the scenes, how much he cared about the product, and I started to think, maybe I was holding on to grudges that didn't need to be there." The turning point came earlier this year when Triple H reached out to Foley following the release of WWE Rivals, a documentary series that chronicled their legendary feud. According to Foley, Triple H sent him a heartfelt message praising his contributions to their matches and acknowledging how much he had learned from working with him. "It was unexpected," Foley said. "Hunter told me that our matches taught him what it meant to tell a story in the ring. He said I made him a better performer. That meant the world to me." Encouraged by Triple H's message, Foley decided to take the next step. He reached out to arrange a meeting with his former rival, and the two sat down for a long overdue conversation. "It wasn't easy," Foley admitted. "We had to be honest with each other about how we felt and what went wrong. But by the end of it, we realized we had more in common than we thought." During their conversation, Triple H expressed regret for any unintentional slight he may have caused Foley over the years. He also acknowledged that Foley's unique style and unrelenting dedication had played a crucial role in shaping WWE's success during the Attitude Era. For his part, Foley apologized for holding on to resentment and admitted that he had misinterpreted some of Triple H's actions. "We both owned up to our mistakes," Foley said. "It was a moment of mutual respect. And honestly, it felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders." Since their reconciliation, Foley and Triple H have taken steps to rebuild their friendship. Foley revealed that he recently visited WWE headquarters in Stamford, where Triple H gave him a tour of the creative offices and discussed potential opportunities for collaboration. "It felt good to be back," Foley said. "Hunter made me feel welcome, and I could see how much he values the legacy of guys like me. It reminded me why I fell in love with this business in the first place." Foley also hinted at the possibility of working with Triple H on future WWE projects, including a potential role in NXT. "I've always loved working with young talent," Foley said. "If there's a way I can contribute to the next generation of superstars, I'm all for it." News of Foley and Triple H's reconciliation has been met with an overwhelmingly positive response from fans and fellow wrestlers. Social media has been flooded with messages celebrating the two legends for putting their differences aside and showing that even the deepest rifts can be healed. "Seeing Mick and Hunter bury the hatchet is inspiring," tweeted one fan. "It's a reminder that respect and understanding can go a long way." Others have speculated about what this renewed friendship could mean for WWE's future, with some hoping to see Foley play a more prominent role in the company's programming. As Foley reflected on his journey with Triple H, he shared a message that resonated with fans and wrestlers alike. "Life is too short to hold onto grudges," Foley said. "At the end of the day, we're all part of the same family. Wrestling brought us together, and it's bigger than any one person or feud. I'm just glad Hunter and I found our way back to that." In an industry built on conflict and competition, Mick Foley and Triple H's story serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of forgiveness and respect. And for fans of professional wrestling, it's a testament to the enduring legacy of two of the greatest performers the business has ever seen.